Hello? Is anyone there? Did the eclipse
Hello.
scare you away?
There's nobody here. Oh, it's come up on my YouTube. This is not playing. Why is this not playing?
Say what now?
Excuse a sec. I don't know if we're having technical problems here. Here we go. We're back up now. We're back
I
up
think
now.
a majority of your issues is just operator error.
Yes, it's called Madness Error. There's 5 people watching, but nobody speaking. We've got the lurkers. The lurkers. They're watching us. The new.
Oh, well, probably people watching us on their TVs, not sure how to do chats and.
Hello.
Or maybe
I'm on a TV.
Maybe there's something. Maybe there's something about all this controversy surrounding the solar eclipse tomorrow. Maybe I don't know.
What you mean? You mean that the only thing, this is my prediction, what's going to happen, and on a serious note, it's going to get really dark, right? And then it's going to get really light again. Right? I'm not saying spiritually wise, I think something is coming, but I think that's for the more people that are enlightened than the people that are spiritual. And that's what I think there's something coming, but I don't know what.
As far as with the eclipse, there does seem to be a bit of a spiritual effect on people, but as far as unless if you're in the path of totality, maybe you'll have to deal with a little excess traffic, some disappointed people, because say like I think down in Texas, they're supposed to be expecting some big rainstorms at the time of the eclipse, so there's going to be a good. I think Airbnb posted that there's a good 4.5 million people that are probably going to be disappointed.
Well, I will say, if you're wanting to watch it live, but you're not from the United States, please go over to Tim and who is it? All About Beer,
Yeah, I was just about to go try to find the link.
Yeah, their guys are going to be there. They're going to be waiting for the solar eclipse and the pouring rain. But anyway, visiting the dead. Good to see you there, friend. I've not seen you for ages.
I've noticed that we've had a lot of people that we don't really. We've had a lot of people start popping back up lately. Welcome back.
You remember,
we missed you.
We're going through Go Squad Scotland now, too. See, I'm signed in on the Bonkers chat there.
So, hey, it is what it is. Just making an observation, man. Come on. But I do have to say this. Okay.
What?
Solar eclipse. Okay. I don't know where this rumor got started.
Oh, God.
Apparently, a lot of people got hospitalized last eclipse because of it. Do not stare at the sun. Yes, that's one of them. Do not spray sunblock in your eyes in order to try to see the eclipse.
Look, I'm going to say this now. Do not. I'm even going to say this now. You can make the crazy glasses that they've told you about, that you can make with cardboard and things. Only use the right stuff, right? Very dangerous, but it's very dangerous looking at the sun, because you can damage your retinas. Might not blind you completely, but you can damage your retinas.
You could actually have your retinas be melted by the eclipse. It is possible. I will say this just as a generic safety warning, because everybody thinks they know better. Please, for the love of God, no spraying sunblock in your eyes on purpose to see the eclipse. It does not work.
Really? Has that actually happened? I've never heard of that. Is people that stupid?
Yeah, apparently that was happening a lot for the 2017 eclipse. Hey, Dots, how's it going, brother?
But I can't believe people can be that stupid to do that.
I don't want to know where the idea first came from. My God.
I've seen people looking at eclipses using welding goggles, which I think's okay, because its welding goggles are.
Oh, yeah. Those are...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are pretty close to where the right regulation for, looking at the eclipse,
yeah. But
because this one's supposed to have a
I
lot
can
more
see it
solar activity with it, so there's gonna be a lot more action with the sun itself.
I can see it tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning in the United States in the solar eclipse path, it'll be like an apocalypse. People will be running in and out of the stores, the Walmarts, and they'll have one main thing in their mind: toilet rolls. I mean, everybody wants toilet rolls during the
Well
apocalypse. I mean, get what I mean?
well, first up, they're trying to associate the recent New York City earthquake to the eclipse. They
Yeah.
say that the path where this year's eclipse intersects with the one back in 2017, that point of intersection, they're going to try to say, "Oh, that's going to be the site of a mass human sacrifice." They're going to mask
Mm.
it like some sort of major travesty. And it's just where are all of these things coming from?
They're coming from now because I'm in Scotland, I can't really use certain words because obviously it's illegal, because of freedom of speech and stuff like that. So they're coming from like-minded people on TikTok.
Like-minded people on
I
TikTok.
have
Okay,
to use I can't
that's
use any of the offensive words. I'm in Scotland. It's illegal to say good morning to somebody.
I, I'm honestly shocked that I haven't gotten a message from you saying that you're in jail yet. To be
I
honest
know
with you,
I've been put in
knowing how
jail because I
quickly,
told someone a turnip.
for how quickly you like to piss people off and stir up drama.
Oh, I know. What is that, by the way? What is that about me? I was sitting thinking about that last night when I was like rolling about in agonising pain. I was thinking
Do
to
you
myself,
really? Okay,
why do people?
think carefully, Chris. Do you really want someone to try to psychoanalyze you as to why you tend to do that?
I, d-
Do you really
I,
want that answer?
I mean, on the Xbox, it's a kind of hobby. Maybe I've carried it across. I don't know.
Do you really want the answer, though? You're not answering my question. Do you really want someone to pick you apart and potentially break you down and to tell you the truth about who you are as a person, but you'll
But
totally deny every single thing
first of
like
all,
you do with everybody else, so you
there's
admit
no
you're a
deny
pain in
everything.
the ass.
I'm just a pain in the ass. I'll admit it. I was sent here from God or the universe. Thought, do you know something? There's not enough pain in the asses in Scotland. Let's send Chris.
That sounds like most of the Scots.
There as watch yourself when you get off the plane. But anyway, the God was probably sitting there thinking, or whatever the entity is that looks after the universe, sitting there thinking, Dakota's going to have a great life, an interesting life. He's going to have a great life, and he's going to get to meet all these people. But do you know something? It's just too easy. Let's send Chris in to be his friend.
I'm starting to wonder because half, yeah, as much as I give you shit, half a good majority of the biggest opportunities I've had is because we've met. I
Aye,
will say
well,
that. I
look,
will say that.
I will say this, and as a downside to me, right? And this is all serious note. I do help a lot of folk. I go out my way to help people, and they take advantage of that. I've
Oh,
noticed that.
that's just
No,
no, but that's just the world we live in, man. We're
yeah.
living in a world that breeds narcissistic behavior, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll admit that. But going back to the solar eclipse, look, I'm just going to use this word, right? I'm just going to use this sentence, right? There is a lot of strange people. I'm going to put it that way on TikTok, right? That
Mhm.
don't seem to have the full brain cell potential, right? That think that there's people there that think the Earth is flat and the rockets that go to the moon are actually balloons made by NASA. I mean, how stupid can you be? Oh, shut. That'll be fine. Eh, but come on, seriously. Look, TikTok's for you. I mean, there's TikTok. There's people on TikTok tonight saying, if you want to survive the solar collapse, buy my book. But it takes 2 weeks to get delivered, and it's
You know,
tomorrow. I mean, how's that?
you got to it's funny when you really think about it. We're talking about all these conspiracies. We have a lot of deep state shit actually coming to the surface. Let's face it. It's a lot of conspiracies have been proven true lately.
And a lot have been
You know,
proven wrong.
that's very true. They've also been proven a hell of a lot worse than people could realize. But here's the thing: if you actually go back to the beginnings of, the alleged beginnings of the Illuminati, the Bavarian Illuminati, right?
Hmm.
What was it that allowed these people to get into power?
Well, it was society
Taking
was,
advantage of
uh,
stupid people during a
yeah.
solar eclipse.
Well, yeah, but it's also if you, I mean, if you think of the Nazi Party, how did they take advantage? They take advantage of poor people. That's how the Nazi Party came to power. Germany. I can't quite look at this because of the war stuff. Germany was falling apart after World War I. They had no money.
Yeah.
They were getting treated terrible. The French were treating them terrible, and then this guy came called Hitler, and they thought he was great, and they thought, "Oh, let's stone it. He's going to get rid of all this terribleness," and everybody stood for him. Everybody voted him in. And then what, 13, 14 years later, the Nazi Party fell,
Yeah.
and Germany was basically a shithole again.
No, exactly. But what we're saying
Hey,
is,
Louise.
you don't really want to follow this type of stuff too quickly because, historically speaking, this is how the population was taken advantage of. Some genuinely intelligent people
Mhm,
were aware of the patterns, could
mhm,
predict when the next solar eclipse was,
mhm.
when the rest of the population either didn't bother or didn't have access to that type of education.
Yeah,
It's one of the oldest tricks in the book.
of course it is, and I'm going to say this. I watched a film the other night there, and it was about the Aztecs, and it was about the high priestess. The high priestess knew all about astronomy, and he knew that that would happen, right? He knew that would
Hmm.
happen. He knew it happened every now and then. But he got loads of people sacrificed, thinking that he's a god just because there was got to be an eclipse to give him
Oh
power.
no, but that's the thing. When you actually go into the
Get
cultures like
knowledge.
that,
Mhm.
the Mayans, the Aztecs, people lined up to be sacrificed.
Yep, because they thought it was a
People
good thing.
lined up. They were looking forward. It was looked as one of the highest honors for you to be slaughtered in honor
Well,
of the gods.
this wasn't an eclipse. This was a comet coming into the solar system. What was it? The
There's a
Heaven's
comet
Gate.
associated with this eclipse,
The
though,
heavens.
dude.
Is there? I but that
Yeah, there's a
remember
comet
what
and an
Are
eclipse
you
this
talking? Are you
month.
talking about that one? It's named after the devil or something like that. What's it called again? The
No,
oh
I can't remember the name of
fiddle
it, but there
pops.
is there is actually a comet that could possibly be visible during the eclipse, which be kind of cool to see.
Aye, but remember the Heaven's Gate incident. Remember with the what you call it? Everybody killed themselves. They taken the poison because of the comment.
Uh,
Comet. Okay, I mean, I
well,
mean, that- I mean,
hey,
how
some
many
of
people do you
Heaven's
think?
Gate's still around, man.
But aye, but here's the thing. Here is the thing. How many mad, crazy cults out there are going to use this tomorrow? That's what I'm
Well,
saying. Is
well,
that
first
what
off,
will come out
you
in the
also
news?
got to really take into consideration everybody in our audience who has has
That's
their
the
tea
devil's
addictions.
comment. Thank you. Mhm.
For everybody who has their tea addictions lately, how many of the major tea brands are actually founded by cults?
I know.
So you're
That's
contributing
interesting,
to
that.
a cult.
Aye. It's the same as
Dots.
McDonald's. It's the same as McDonald's. I could tell you things about McDonald's. There's a lot McDonald's has got a lot back. That's a show we should do one night, is about things that you see in everyday life that have got connections to cults and organizations.
Oh yeah.
Lawrence, I think you knowledge within that's called the Devil's Comet. Sorry, my Scotchness coming out there. But I definitely think, right, but honestly, all this kind of spiritual stuff that people that I'm friendly with, I don't think anything bad's going to happen tomorrow. I think, but something is coming.
Mm,
I mean, what's your opinion on it? To go, what's your honest opinion? What do you think is going to happen?
honestly, I feel like I'm about to sneeze, so if I gotta pause myself. Um, God, would you just come out already? God,
I know. Come on, come out. He wants to come out, ladies and gentlemen.
Shut up. Hey, you're the one that's been trying to fantasize about my love life. So
Well, you're trying to
maybe
figure
you
out
need
who
to
it
be the
is.
one that comes out.
I'm trying to figure out who it is that you've got shacked up with now, and you'll not tell me who it is. So I've got to go through the list of people that
Because that's
I'll,
her and
I'll
I's
eventually figure it
business.
out. It will take me time, but I'll eventually figure it out. But anyway, come on, waiting to hear what's going to happen. Everybody's waiting and paused in anticipation.
What's going to happen? Well, say, when it comes to the eclipse, like you said, it's going to get a lot slightly darker outside, then slightly lighter. That's it.
Yes.
And as far as the rockets that that's actually firing up, they've done this with every solar eclipse that's been recent.
Yes, I know.
That's another one of the controversies. Like, okay, why isn't NASA firing off rockets? See if now could there be some sort of back channel they're trying to go through? There other purposes for this? Likely, it
Yeah,
is still a military operation, but NASA is essentially firing these rockets to put instruments into space that are basically the size of 2-liter soda bottles,
Hmm.
just to look at how the environment, how the atmosphere reacts during a solar eclipse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
So
different studies that actually
I
come
could
out
save them a
during the.
fortune. I could just on and tell them it gets light and then it gets dark again.
Now they're looking at electromagnetic activity, the old source stuff like that. See how much the sun actually interacts with it.
I'm going to say this, right? I do think there's something weird going on now. Oh, he's gazoon tight there, he's sneezing. I do think there's something weird going on with the planet now. But I'm going to I'm going to say this to you, and you don't get a message on Facebook for this. I don't believe in global warming. Global warming's farce. Global warming's made up bullshit, basically, so you have to pay your taxes. What is that noise? Oh, you there, Dakota? See, froze everybody for you. Right, as I was saying, I think climate change is a load of nonsense, right? I think the Earth goes through cycles. I think we go through cycles every so often. Like Antarctica at one time was a tropical climate, right? And the same with other parts around the world was a tropical climate, right? My goodness, is you back, Dakota? What's going on? What? I can't hear you. Is somebody hoovering? What's the,
Lawnmower.
a lawn? I thought you said it was snowing.
No, the snow melted off.
God, go there and tell him you're trying to do a show.
I need to be mowing my lawn here soon. God.
I don't know. But, well, as I was saying, I was going on about climate change and that, and this has ties in with the solar eclipse and stuff. Like I do think there's something going on. I mean, this heavy rain we've had has been ridiculous. I know I live in Scotland, but it's not just Scotland; it's England too that's had that. Do you know that the crops are failing in the UK because the ground's too wet to plant?
Really?
Yeah. See like the potatoes and the turnips and all that kind of stuff, vegetables and that, they can't plant them because the ground's too wet. It's quite funny with what you call it, the lawnmower going.
It's kind of fucking.
It's the CIA.
No, it's a neighbor that actually got in trouble with the city for not mowing their lawn.
And they decided to do it today when you were doing your show.
Well, this is the first consistently nice day we've had over here.
That's interesting what the knowledge within says. He says he can only see one person online.
Which channel is he watching us through?
What channel are you watching us on? Because I'm in the main Bald Bonkers one, and there's 11 people on that, but there's only 3 people in the chat. And then if I go to Ghost Squad Scotland, because we're live through there too, aren't
It's
we?
like you got to remember, Lewis, we broadcast through multiple channels at once to try to
Right.
get this as out to as many people as possible.
And Ghost Squad Scotland, we've got Christine and Visiting the Dead Adventures. And they are. That is a bit odd, that. I don't know if there is something going on tonight. Isn't that?
Yeah, everybody traveling to their Airbnbs to what just dropped over there.
Nothing at my end.
It sounded like something just dropped on your end.
Nothing dropped at my end.
It literally just sounded like somebody just dropped something in like the kitchen or something. It wasn't on my end.
There's no in my end because I would have heard it. These are no
Huh.
noise cancelling. The other ones are.
Huh.
Mm.
Anyway.
Anyway, back to the Eclipse. I mean, it was quite interesting what Pete said. I think Pete's away some of the new filming probably, but he said that the psychic friend of his dad said that something was coming.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that with this eclipse.
But I think it's nothing to worry about. I think it's something else. I think it's a new beginning. And again, people are going to look at me and say, "What do you mean by that, Chris?" I think in a spiritual aspect, like if you're into your Wicca or you're into your meditation, if you're into a mediumship, depending what you're into, right, the UFOs and stuff like that, I think it's a new beginning. I think it's something good for the earth, to be honest with you. But then again, it could be something else. It could be something darker. It could be a prelude to war with God knows who. It could be the. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Edgar Casey here. And
Everybody's trying to say there's going to be more war. Yeah, there
of course, there's
probably
got
is
war.
going to be more war. There's always going to be some sort of conflict. Just because, no matter what New Age group tries to tell you, if with this ascension that is supposed to be coming here in our near future, there's always going to be conflict. It's just a
Of course, there's
part
got to
of
be.
how it is. Without conflict, there wouldn't be no evolution. But
Hmm.
as far as why this eclipse in particular seems to be so active, maybe it happens to coincide with something that is in fact coming. We've had a lot of people, we have some people that we've had a guess as on the show say that this year, leading into next year, something big is going to happen. Exactly what? I don't know. And a lot of people are getting kind of irritated.
Yeah, I, right, people out there are like, and there's people I follow on YouTube and stuff, and I watch them and that, and they're saying there's got to be a great earthquake that's going to half America and all that kind of stuff. Maybe there will be a great earthquake that's going to happen in America, but I don't think it's going to happen for a long, long time. I mean, it's the same with Yellowstone. It's a ticking time bomb. Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
ticking time bomb, but nobody knows when that's going to go off. It could be tomorrow, or it could be 100 years from now.
In fact, just within the last few years, because I am in the blast zone if Yellowstone ever
Hmm.
goes off, there's been several people that have tried to chalk up seismic activity as well as increase in temperatures during the hot springs as the super volcano getting ready to blow. But I'm still here.
Because an interesting thing, right? And I'm going back to the climate change again, right? Which I think it's nothing to do with global warming. That's just a thing that they've labelled so as they can charge more money for taxes and stuff, right?
Mhm.
And the reason I say that, and there's people out there, oh, but you can't say that about global warming. I says, look, well, if it's no global warming, why is Mars, Jupiter, and all the other planets and gas giants in the solar system warming up too?
Mhm.
It can't be the exhaust fumes for your Chrysler sitting out front. You see where I'm going
Yeah.
with this?
There's
So,
changes happening with
aye,
several different systems, not just uh, in this solar system. There's a few others that are getting reflected as well. That they
I
notice some
think
strange activity getting ready to kick up.
I think this is always meant to happen, and it will happen over and over and over again until the sun swells up and destroys the earth. Right? I think it's going to happen. I mean, at one time, Antarctica used to be a tropical climate. God knows, with a
Mhm.
civilization on it for all you know, right? But I just think there's too much panic in here. I think people need to relax. nothing's going to happen tomorrow. I'll tell you what, I'll do a live tomorrow night if half the United States falls into the sea and Dakota's running about. Maybe you'll wake up and it'll be the day when bald people get their hair back.
You would love that, wouldn't you?
I would have a big afro. I would like a big afro out to be here. I think it'd be awesome. You know?
Yeah, I have a white guy's afro.
Aye. But look, there's nothing going to happen except for a spiritual awakening. And I'm going to say this. I was watching a YouTube channel. I'm mentioning it because it's fear porn again. And he taken his drone up and he was filming the sun. And he says, "Oh, look at the bottom. It's planet Nirenbrew. It's planet X and all that. It's a flare. It's a lens flare. You can see it's a lens flare. Oh, that's no a lens flare. That's no it's a lens flare. I put a lens flare. Get banned off the channel. Obviously, I'm not allowed to speak on there now because that happens."
First off, Nibiru, that Zacharias Sitchin, while yes, he did have a lot of things right that he got right about the ancients, he also got quite a few things wrong.
Yeah.
As far as Nibiru, you got to take into consideration now. I mean, yes, obviously approach any claims when it comes to that with skepticism because it's out there. And until it's a little easier, like we were talking yesterday, to gather some of the evidence that would be needed to back some of these statements, always approach these things with skepticism. But the Nibiru ship is just a big ass motherfucking ship that
Yeah.
would easily be mistaken as a small planet. And if you actually looked at the Sumerian translations, Nibiru actually translates to Jupiter.
Yeah. And
There's
that's
a
where
little
that
bit more
ship's meant to hang.
schematics behind
Is
it.
that know where that ship's meant to hang out about? It's meant to hang out about Jupiter. It's meant to hide behind it.
Hide about
What
it,
I've been
yeah.
told. Yeah. So look, if TikTok didn't exist, there'd be loads of sad individuals out there with nothing else to do but go to YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say this: there is some stuff on TikTok that's actually really interesting. There is some legit people in there,
Yeah,
but
why do
then
you
there's
think
some
the
people
US
on
is
there
trying to
that's,
ban it?
and then there's some people out there that, oh my god, the sheer stupidity. I just don't know anymore. There's people on TikTok that shouldn't even be allowed to exist in a community because they're just that bad at what they do. They don't have any. I mean, I just don't get it. I sit there at night and I think to myself, holy shit, what has happened to this world? The sheer stupidity of some people.
All for that dopamine hit.
But it's as I was doing a show today on Chris and Alan show, and I was doing the show the other day. That wee video that I did it's like the fakers and the paranormal. My God, the amount of faking that goes on in the paranormal.
Oh yeah.
And believe me, this has got stuff to do with the solar eclipse. There'll be people out there saying, "Oh, buy my magic spectacles and you can see the great one," and all that kind of shit. Look, the amount of I bet you there'll be people that do videos of the eclipse and they'll say that there's entities chasing them about and they'll fake it and they'll get loads of views.
Now, being that how the light bends around with the solar eclipse, it could very well be possible for certain cloaked things, like we were talking about yesterday, they may come into view. It is possible, just for the way all this stuff works. But nevertheless, like you said, there's probably going to be a shit ton of fake videos getting circulated. Kind of like that one. Have
The
you
one with the
seen the
big
one?
ball,
What's that?
the one with the big ball floating through the sky.
Yeah. There's also the kind of like the ones where people are saying, "Oh, there was a massive giant spotted outside, just out by the moon. The giant human face."
I seen that.
And I'm just like, okay, first off, it was something that big, that close to the moon, you would be able to see it without having to zoom in on your smartphone.
Oh my god, TikTok bombarded with random videos about the eclipse. Aye, because it's fair. I mean, there's
That's
folk out
fake to
there saying
face.
that there's aye, it's
Yeah, we know,
it's
Lewis.
fake.
We know.
Yeah, yeah. It's look, there's some things on TikTok that's all right and all that kind of stuff, but then there's like the fakery that's getting involved. Like, see the fakery, it really despises me because there's paranormal teams out there that actually do a good job, but then there's paranormal teams out there that pay for the subscribers, pay for the views, and the fake stuff, and people
True.
openly fall for it, and I just don't get it. I just how folk can believe that this stuff's real. I mean, you
I
probably
know.
get what I'm talking about, but I just get there's sometimes when I see this stuff, I just sit back and I just think to myself, Jesus, help me. Honestly, help me.
I know. And well, it's how do I put this? It's okay to want to believe that there's some greater thing going on out
Mhm.
there. And let's face it, this the society as it is now, it breeds almost like narcissistic behavior. It
Oh,
allows
yeah.
some very fucked up shit to transpire, and it has transpired for quite some time. It's just now starting to come to the surface how bad a lot of this stuff actually is behind the scenes, especially with that behind quiet on set thing that with Drake Bell that
Mhm.
came out not too long
Mhm.
ago. It's okay to want to believe that there is something bigger out there, but you have to also realize there are more people who have already taken advantage of the fact that there are so many lost individuals
Yeah.
in order to build some truly corrupt, what's the fucking word I'm looking for here?
Well, look, there's people out there when they do paranormal stuff, right, and they fake it. There'll be people watch their stuff and think, "Oh, that's real. I'm going to go there and try that,"
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they'll try it, and nothing will happen. And then they'll start getting into the Ouija board and they'll start going down this road because they think it's real. Look, I'm not saying I'm going to say this. Yes, there is an afterlife, and yes, there is extraterrestrials out there. But see some of the ghost hunting teams that are out there. Some of them are utter shit. They just fake absolutely everything, and I really despise them. I really despises me.
Mm-hmm.
Was watching one last night. I just thought to myself, Jesus, help me. It was so stupid what had happened in it, and I was just like, I'll tell you after the show about it. But I was just like, why, why not just try and prove that life after death exists, or why don't you prove that aliens exist instead of making all this bullshit up? But there's people out there that don't really believe in the afterlife, ladies and gentlemen, and they don't believe in UFOs. But there is something that they believe in. It's called money.
Mm-hmm.
And they know if they get all these people to follow you about and do this kind of stuff, they're going to make a load of money. Right? Like Mr. Zach Bagans and stuff like that. Just get him a lot of his stuff was when it first started. I actually thought it was quite good, but then they started going down the road to the fake and stuff, and that's what really annoys me about some of the
Mm-hmm.
paranormal teams out there. But that people copy that. There'll be it's actually interesting that I would wonder. You should maybe do it. I don't know if you did. I wonder if what the solar eclipse would do to like a spiritual investigation in the spiritual realm.
Quite a few of the spirits that are able to recognize the environment around them, they do watch.
Hmm.
During the 2017 one, I did actually watch it from a graveyard
Yeah.
because we had pretty good coverage from here, and I had a little spirit box going because I was just kind of curious, just to see what would happen. And they there were voices coming through commenting on the eclipse.
Oh, talking about ghost boxes and their eclipse. Who's that guy? Who's that guy? That bloody, what'd you call him? What's his name that does the ghost boxes? You get what I'm talking about.
Oh God, what was
Mike the
yeah
Naked Bigfoot hated him, right? Despised
yeah
him, right? You get what I'm talking about. What was his bloody name? Anyway, he had
yeah
today one about the solar eclipse. He had today. These folk don't realize these things are programmable, right? These things are programmable. oh, the apocalypse is coming. He's going to look really stupid, but he'll just ban all the folk that said that. He was like, oh, they came and saved us and stuff like that. This is what I mean. There's so many people out there that fall for it, that fall for this. And people will take
Absolutely.
advantage of this.
People are already trying to figure out how to take advantage of it. What are you talking about?
But at least, see, what us, we don't get many views, right? So we're talking the truth. But there'll be folk out there, there'll be people live the news saying, oh, yes, the apocalypse is coming. Donate $500 to us and it will save you all. And all that. I bet there's people out there now doing exactly that. Getting money donated to them on TikTok. Because they've got to be doing incantations to stop the evil from coming tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Now, granted, let's face it, with a lot of these claims, there is several aspects where, when it comes to, say, like UFOs and stuff like that, why it could be so hard to prove, because we have so many different moving parts. And yes, there could very well be things behind the scenes that we just don't catch on to. Happens all the time, but nevertheless, again, unless you happen to be in the areas where your grocery store is probably going to be on low stock because of all these tourists coming in and booking up all the Airbnbs to try to watch the eclipse. That's about it.
I seen a video today, and it was actually before I taken the dog out of work. Actually, I seen it was on TikTok, and there was a guy driving down the highway videoing a FEMA truck, one FEMA truck, and it was a ship container on the back that said FEMA on the side, yeah, right.
Aye.
And next to it, I had a generator with like a kind of aerial antenna. It wasn't aerials; it was actually power lines getting into the thing, right. You could see it was like a porta cabin thing. But he was telling everybody that it's actually an incinerator for all the dead people that's got to die tomorrow.
You
That's
need a
no
hell of a
an
lot more than
incinerator.
that.
It's not an incinerator. I can tell you something. I've seen mobile incinerators, and they're like 4 times the size of a shipping container, and they're huge, right? To take the extreme heat. It was a shipping container that said FEMA on the side of it, and a generator, a wee diesel generator with one of these stupid handheld ones next to it.
Yep.
Right,
You're
and
going to
this
need a
is
hell of a lot more power to burn a body. No
yeah.
less the alleged millions that are going to transpire.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, in one city, there's how many people? 6 million people or something like that. And one shipping container's got with a diesel generator's got enough power to power a TV. He's going to create them all.
It'd be one hell of a generator. Let's face
It
it.
would be one hell of a generator. I'd be getting one myself. This is what's wrong in this today is people fall for it. People fall for everything. Hey Louise, I'm having Wi-Fi problems here. I'm so see this is weird this because it's not just I've noticed a lot of people today that have had Wi-Fi problems and their internet's going a wee bit dodgy and stuff like that. But there has been a big storm coming in the UK and Ireland and that.
Yeah. But you know, it's kind of like your remarks because like you're messaging me before the show. I'll be in at this time, so you don't think I'm abducted by aliens. You know, that's the other thing. This is something I've genuinely wondered. How much of like ancient history that has made it to today?
But it's bullshit.
Well, not just that, not just that.
Yeah.
How much of it was meant to be just an innocent, smartass joke? Because let's face it, human psychology has not changed in about the last few thousand years. We're roughly the same up here. We're roughly the same back then as we are now. How much of it was some dumbass making a joke and an even dumber dumbass believing it and carrying on
Yeah.
and spreading it? And because so many people started to believe, that's what became the
Well,
truth.
it's kind of like the scenario is right. Say you've got a comedian that writes a book, right? And that guy writes this book and he sells this book, and that book goes to a museum, and then that book falls into disrepair, and there's only 2 pages of that book left, right? But somehow that the 2 pages in that comedian's book, right, last for say, I don't know, 600 years, right? in some weird way they managed to survive, right, or tattered and that. Then people find it and think, "Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's what really happened. That's what really happened." And then they start following it and believing it. But in
Mhm.
actual fact, it was a guy that wrote a book about comedy, and it's just been found. How do we know that most of the Dead Sea Scrolls weren't just like manuals for stuff? You know
Very
what I mean?
true. There's actual
Yeah,
historical
I'm fair.
documents that have been found that actually portray Yeshua, the figure that we know modern
Yeah.
today as Jesus. They simply just were just calling him a good magician.
Yep. I've heard that.
Seriously, seriously.
Yep.
I was like I said, it's
I've
been
heard that.
going on for that. I mean, how many historical figures, the ancient demigods, how many of those were just celebrities who just happened to be really good at something? Then it just carried on and they got morphed into this deity. Like modern day celebrities, modern day athletes,
Yep.
they just happen to be really good at what they do. Down the line, they get turned into gods. Who's to say?
Yeah.
And let's say, how much of ancient history is twisted because the person didn't realize they needed glasses that weren't invented yet.
We'll put it this way, we're in digital information now, right? Can you imagine a million years in the future they come across an ancient device and all it's as is Mike the Naked Bigfoot dressed as a woman on TikTok? But they can only manage to open it up so far, and every now and again they just see Mike dressed as a woman. Because you know he did that. He did that face swap. He did that face swap, right?
Yep,
And
yep.
they'll be like, "Oh my god, he must have been a god. Look at him standing there with the beautiful body." But that
Then
you
all
see
of a
where I'm going
sudden,
with
then
this?
all of a sudden, Mike the Naked Bigfoot has become a shape shifting trickster deity.
Yeah, he probably love that kind of stuff. Though. He would love
I
that kind of
think he
thing.
would.
And,
And
it's
if Pete were here, I would love to hear his side of it because I would imagine he would get a kick out of that.
Yeah, but it's like for instance, say there's a video out there of you dressed an alien. Like say you go to an event and you dress like you. Perfect example. Facebook.
Oh,
Your eye was
dear
making
God.
mad pictures. Your eye was making mad pictures up of you standing looking like Superman and all that, right?
That was
That
one of those
digital,
AI avatars.
right? Digital information, right, can probably last a wee bit longer, depending how million years
Uh,
from now they come across that and they're like, "Oh my god, he must have been a god. He was the god of Idaho." That's who he was. He was the god of Idaho. He came from the stars. They might actually start writing a Bible with you on it, and somebody will add
God,
stuff on it. He came fortheth, and he turneth the glass of water into mountain dew.
God, I could go for some Mountain Dew right now.
See, this is where things get made up. I mean, like, right? Hypothetically, say nothing happens tomorrow, which nothing is going to happen tomorrow. And it just goes past. But say something happens, say, all right, there's an earthquake somewhere in the world. They'll be, oh, the day of the great earthquake happened in the solar eclipse. And some idiot out there will make it up, saying
Hmm.
that. Let's face it,
Yeah,
they'll say there'll be an earthquake. So I see there was one, is it Taiwan? The other day was another earthquake in Taiwan. And
yeah.
I
There
mean,
was a pretty major one in
yeah,
Taiwan too. Yeah,
yeah. Can you imagine if there was a major earthquake happening somewhere in the world the day that was happening? What
there's
would they blame it
already
on?
they're already poking at the fact that there have been seismic readings popping up at the path of trajectory. Plus, you also got to take into consideration. Okay, I feel like we're about to skip over something else that already is going to make this thing
Right,
look
I'm going
biblical.
luminous.
The cicadas, the cicada broods that are supposed to emerge at the time of the eclipse. They have the 13-year brood and the 18-year brood. It's
That's right.
very rare for them to come up at the same time. Like, I think they said it was like over 250 years since the last time they've come up together. All these bugs are going to be coming out. Now, I'm just gonna say, unless there's some sort of new virus or something like that that gets transmitted by these things,
Mhm.
you're gonna be fine. The worst thing they do is mess up your house plants.
Yeah.
It's just gonna you hear a lot the noise of a lot of cicadas going about. It's gonna be one of those things.
Hey, Stephanie.
So it's not like the Mormon crickets that invade Utah.
Mormon crickets? I've heard of,
Hmm.
like, Mormon, like, porridge oats here. I didn't know there was such a thing as Mormon crickets.
Yeah, they're called Mormon crickets. They're highly invasive. They're spilling into parts of Nevada as well. You could drive down the highway and all you would just hear this constant crunching because there's so many damn crickets on the road. They're actually cannibalistic too.
Mm. Mhm. I'm telling you, someday, I bet after the eclipse, and I hope it doesn't happen, but I bet it does happen. I bet after the eclipse, there will be atrocities committed tomorrow.
There probably will be because uh, there's going to be people out there who need some serious mental health evaluation. You think guys like us are insane? No, we're
Mm.
talking full on skin the cat alive because the doggy told me to. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's people out there that hear voices and stuff like that. That'll be like, okay, I mean, saying things today, and the so look, just there's people that's got to say New York's got to fall into a great void and all that, and there's got to be a great earthquake will split America in half, the Mora, and then you've got all the kind of what you call them, the Bible bashers. They're all like, oh, and the great wisdom's coming. They say Jesus is coming back tomorrow too. Did you not hear that one? Jesus is meant to come
Oh,
back tomorrow.
honestly, first off, two things. One, unless the afterlife has one hell of a language, language school, it's where you can
Mm,
learn any language you want. First off, we're not going to understand what he says. It's highly likely that he's going to be one of the colored ones that people tend to try to ignore. Because let's
mm.
face it, a white guy in the Middle East is going to fucking stand out. Now,
Well,
he may be like complected, he may have
mhm.
had blue eyes. That could be a legitimate thing. But nevertheless, Yeshua, kind of goofy looking.
I'm going to say this. I watched a comedian the other day, and he was going on about. We wouldn't be able to do this in Scotland now, but anyway, he was going on about in the Middle East where Jesus came from, right? Everybody had like European names. Have you never noticed that?
I
And everybody was white. Everybody was white and had European names. That's not what it was like in the Middle East in the days. Yeah,
no,
I mean,
no,
it wasn't that. And there is tales, solar eclipses and stuff
no.
in the Middle East and stuff.
Those were westernized translations, and not
Those
even
look westernized.
not even accurate. That if you were to more accurately translate Yeshua's name into modern English, you have a lot of guys named Joshua who are going to have a fat head
Yeah,
because they believe that the term Jesus actually was some partially derived from Zeus.
yeah. Why do you think the Vatican doesn't allow you to see the ancient records?
Well, first off, on one hand, I will just say this: considering how old some of those things are,
Very
the
old,
very
yeah. I bet they can still
if
talk about
no,
something.
not granted, not granted, you got to
No.
take a lot of this stuff. Could very well be so old that if it
Mm-hmm.
is not handled properly, if it is exposed to the elements too much, it would
Yeah.
crumble into dust.
Oh,
There
exactly.
is
Yeah.
now there is legitimate preservation efforts behind this, but nevertheless, yes, the Vatican has censored a lot of shit. Why do you think when UFOs started becoming a little bit more mainstream, not as much as they are today, but
Yeah.
it was like what was it 10, 12 years ago, a little longer than that, the Vatican came out saying that a belief in UFOs doesn't necessarily negate the belief in your religion.
Yep. And who was that famous artist that did the Mona Lisa? What was his name?
Da Vinci.
Right, Da Vinci. He actually, if some of his paintings out there, you can actually see UFOs on them.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. You got to remember, guys, that the Bible, and this is going to piss a lot of folk off, but I don't care. But because as again, I don't really particularly care about this, but the Bible's not really what you think it is. You got to remember the Bible was written, was it 400 years after Jesus passed?
Here's the thing. There's several analytical experts who have taken a look at
Mhm.
this Christian Bible, the Quran,
Mhm. The
even
Quran,
if
yep.
you actually observe how certain terminology was used, how everything
Mhm.
flows, they speculate that the Quran, the modern Bible,
Mhm.
was essentially the works of at least four different authors
Exactly.
who all had their work copy and pasted into one thing.
Yeah.
At least four is what they say. They speculate
Yeah.
highly likely there's more, but at least there is
Oh
enough
yeah.
deviation in the language to indicate that there's at least four different personalities writing these texts.
Yes.
And
I
if
mean
that's genuinely God, God has multiple personality disorders and should really try to find a way to get himself some therapy.
there's meant to be Bibles out there that are the true Bible that are not allowed to be shown
True.
because eh, you got to remember when these Bibles were written, it was done in control. Have you ever noticed that about certain Bibles? I mean, some of the stuff, aye, it's great. If everybody lived with that stuff, it would be great. Some of the stuff I said would be great to live by,
Yeah.
right? Because it said, "Have no way neighbor, do not murder, do not do these things." All these things are good things, right?
Mm,
But if you really, same with the Quran, if you had really thought about this, it was designed to keep women in check. Think
mm-hmm.
about it. Especially with Islam, right? Especially with Christian. Every Bible, every holy book has got it in it, right?
Just
The way
about.
it's the way it's just about, and it's the way it's designed. And look, nobody will ever know what really happened at Easter when the stone rolled away for the. I don't know how it turned into a chocolate egg. That's just one for me. That is, I don't know how that happened because it was a big rock.
That's well,
You
you
know what I
got to
mean?
take into consideration a lot of like Easter, just as an example, that comes from pagan religions,
That's right.
about fertility,
I
Ishtar,
know.
stuff like that. We can go on for days on end. And a lot of Christianity slowly integrated pagan traditions to try to bring in more people.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, yes, there is several aspects of it that allowed for the suppression of women. It
Yeah.
is true. And it's also at the same time that a lot of corrupt individuals were in positions of power that took advantage of the fact nobody was going to try to check them. And again, like we were saying, it is at least there's at least 500 years between when the earliest Bibles were written in in the form we would know them now as to when some of those events actually transpired. But you also got to take consideration a lot of these stories were passed down through oral tradition.
Yes.
People change smallest details when
Mhm.
they go to retell their stories just from their personal lives. The slight details always either get omitted, they're slightly
Yep.
changed. It happens all the time. And
Yep.
again, as I said before, human psychology back then is roughly the same as it is now.
In some religious books out there, there's tales of the what you call it, the end is nigh when you see a solar eclipse and stuff. Have you seen that?
Yep.
And how they would talk about, especially the Aztecs, they were totally into this stuff. I mean, they, as I said before, the Aztecs would chop your 20 heads off just so as the person thought it was magical. Yeah, I mean, but it was the Aztecs that actually killed themselves. A lot of people don't realize that the Incadors, they went out to take the gold, right? Everybody knows that they taken a lot of wealth, right? But before that, the Aztecs were killing themselves. They were dead, and you know what they were doing? They were sacrificing people, and then they were throwing the bodies into their wells with the drunk the water for,
Mm-hmm.
and it was causing disease, and it was killing them. It was killing them outright.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of their, if you ever watch it, what's that film? And it's the Aztecs. What's the one where it's like, what was that?
Did you see that?
I seen something move, but I don't know what it
Yeah,
was.
something moved like right here.
I seen something, it was like a wormy thing, no, a worm, what'd you call it? It was like a swirly kinda
It
aye,
looked like somebody just walked behind me. I'm just like, unless the cats somehow got that big, but damn.
it makes you wonder. But as the Aztecs, they killed a lot of their people off because of the eclipses and stuff like that, thinking that it was going to happen over and over again because that, and eventually it just killed half their own population. We are in an age now where computers run everything, basically, right? Where
Hmm.
99% of the population of this planet are on TikTok and YouTube, and they get to see fake stuff. They get to see fake stuff on a daily basis where they believe it, where they absolutely believe it. And this is the problem now. We've actually got prophets. I'll call them prophets, right? For Twitter. No, for Twitter, sorry, for what you call it, TikTok. We'll call them the prophets of TikTok that say that there's got to be doom and famine and wars and apocalypse, and nothing ever comes of it. But that happened thousands and thousands of years ago. There was these people saying, "Oh, you better, if we chop off 500 people's heads, we'll be safe."
Hmm.
This is what's happening now. And don't chop off 500 people's heads or whatever you do for the hang with the mora. But what I'm saying is there is people out there on TikTok that 100% believe in what they're talking about, and it's bullshit.
Hmm.
There's people on there that have became war experts, right? Battlefield tactical experts within a week, and they've got their own channels where they talk about what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in the world, and all that. And they think they get everything. I sat one night and I watched one of them, and he was talking about the Middle East war, and he was getting everything wrong. Everything wrong. He was calling them
Hmm.
different names, and but everybody was believing him.
Hmm.
Everybody was believing him. We sat Lawrence and sorry guys, having problems with connection, so I'll say good night. Take care. Catch you all soon. Catch you later soon, Lawrence, man. But see, thanks for watching anyway, man. That's the society we live in now. I mean, if you really wanted to cause chaos tomorrow, you could fake something. You could
Oh yeah.
with the technology there is. You could
Hmm.
easily fake something like Project Bluebeam or whatever. You could fake something killing loads of people. And then
Hmm.
it was remembered in history the day the sun was covered, the 10,000 people died and all that kind of stuff. And that would be done in legend. But what people don't realize, things can be faked.
Well, here's the thing. And for the people that are still kind of doubting that that stuff like that could happen, that would be that easy to fake mass panic. H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds.
What are the
People try to say, "Oh, this was a test broadcast." First off, maybe it was. We don't know what happened behind closed doors. But correct me if I'm wrong, but that broadcast started out with saying that this is not real.
Mhm.
It was a production
Mhm.
meant to promote the book.
Yeah, but then they all went for a break, and then they came back at lunchtime, but they
Hmm.
never said that again. And everybody at lunchtime was tuned into the radios and heard this, thinking that there was a Martian attack.
Hmm. But still, again, and we see it happen all the time. We have it with some of the with the trolls that we get in the chat.
Oh, could
That
Jesus!
they try to say, "Oh, you guys should do this, you guys should do that." And I'm not isolating anybody here. There's
I would
been
know
more than one
instantly
incident.
before I start.
There's there's been individuals that thought, "Oh, you're making it up that you're talking about like saying Lewis saying earlier that he only saw one person in the chat. We streamed to at least 20 different locations
Mhm.
for the live show before it gets
Yeah,
repurposed and put out as audio.
we can see how we're talking. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like using that as an example, people are making assumptions based on the little bit of information they're actually given
Mhm.
that they
Mhm.
think they see. And it's a point that I always try to say. Why is it human beings are let me rephrase. Human beings are three-dimensional creatures. Why is it that we're only trusting the little one-dimensional two two-dimensional surface of whatever device you're watching this show on for all your information about the complexity of life and creation?
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
You got to remember there's people out there that are gullible, and I don't know how gullible they are. I've met some really, really stupid people in my life. I mean,
Yeah.
extremely thick people. I'm sorry to say that, but I have met them, and I thought to myself, holy shit, how do these people manage from day to day? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
can't remember what's that there, Iron Firehorse? There was a radio show in Toronto in the early 80s that portrayed the scenario that Jim Morrison from the Doors was alive, and a lot of
And
people believed it. See, that's what I mean. It's I mean, if you really get the tip and you had plenty of money, you could do a fake CNN report tomorrow, right? Said, "Oh my
oh,
God,
easily.
The city of New York has been destroyed," and there'll be people in New York sitting eating their hamburgers and that and joints and that, looking at their phone, saying, looking out the window, and then looking around about them and stuff like that.
It's
You
like
know what I mean?
they're gonna be looking at him like, is this for a movie? What's going on?
Yeah, it's like the people that repost the Japanese tsunami for 2012, saying it's happening now and folk fall for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Exactly.
at the bottom, they've got their links, their fake charity links that lead to their bank account.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's sad. There's just sad individuals out there that's preying on the weak. You know what I
Preying
mean?
on the weak and gullible.
Exactly. I mean, look, YouTube's for it too. YouTube, I'm not just getting TikTok angry, but YouTube is bad. YouTube, especially with the fake ghost hunting and all that kind of stuff. That I just can't. There's only certain folk I'll watch now, and there is some folk that I've watched lately, and I thought to myself, "Holy shit, that is the biggest wind up in my entire life." I'm not going to mention it on here because I'll wait them behind the scenes. But I've seen stuff, and I thought to myself, "Holy shit!"
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I just it gives me a chuckle. It gives see when these people are actually paying loads of money for all of this, right? And it's not working. You ever noticed that? There was one guy I was watching, 985 people watching, and one person talking to his cell in the chat. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's mad. It really is mad, you know. And I'm telling you, tomorrow nothing's going to happen, but there will be a lot of fake fear shit that comes out. Fear.
Then once again, a lot of those same people are gonna try to jump on the next bandwagon to maintain their relevance.
Or maybe the devil's
Look at
comments
Yuri
got
Geller.
aliens on it. Maybe the devil's comments maybe got aliens on it, and they're going to come down in their big
Hey,
shiny ships and turn everybody into
there's the theory
cupcakes.
of panspermia. There's the theory of
Mm.
panspermia when you really think about it.
Look,
That
Yuri
comet could
Geller's fake.
like
Jesus
that
Christ.
comet could legitimately have biological specimens on it that are frozen. That when they go to break off and enter the Earth's atmosphere, that DNA gets into the gene pool.
Hmm.
It's possible. You never fucking know anymore.
Yeah,
It's the
bald people will have
2020s.
their hair back.
It's the 2020s. Nobody knows what the hell's going to go on.
Look, tomorrow, if you're in America and you see the comment, sorry, if you see the solar cap, don't look at it with your eyes. Look at it way what you're meant to look at it way. Be careful, or look at it. What is it? A bit of sheet of paper. You use the reflection to look at
Yeah,
the.
you can use a pinhole projector. Get yourself a pair of those Eclipse glasses. If you got a decent enough welder's mask, use that. Don't look directly into the sun. It's never a good idea. Don't look at it may be safe to look at the eclipse for the brief moment that you have total coverage. That's about it.
And I
And
would like to,
don't spray sunblock in your eyes.
yeah. And if I'm totally wrong, if I'm totally wrong tomorrow and a terrible apocalypse happens, Dakota is going bungee jumping in my place. Thank you, Dakota. Thank you. But
We've
anyway,
had this discussion. I weigh too much, and the last thing I want my final moments to be is to be yelping like Wile E. Coyote because my ass got smacked with a giant ass rubber band as I'm falling to my death. Bitch.
That'd be a way to go though, wouldn't it? You would hit the ground and then you go, "I'm still
Yeah, just
alive," and then
all you hear is this.
thud. But imagining the death
Splash.
certificate would be quite good, death by elastic or something like that, you know?
Bungee jumping accident.
But anyway, ladies, do you have any shows planned for this week, or what you doing this week,
I
and
might,
doing things?
depending on conditions. Still kind of bouncing off of this fucking head cold, but maybe I'll try to do a little something for the Eclipse tomorrow. That's about it. If not, there our friends with Suds Paranormal are doing
Yep,
a live stream from the Path of Totality. Even though, if I'm not mistaken, the area they're at is expecting rain at the time of the eclipse. So good luck
yep,
with that.
yep. And yeah, I hope everything goes well tomorrow, and if everybody turns into ravenous zombies, good luck. Good luck. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Good luck. Yeah, you'll
Good
be
luck.
fine.
Stay
Pete.
safe. Maintain
Yep.
your sanity. What are you
Another
saying about
thing.
your boyfriend?
I'm just saying that Pete, be safe out there because I ken that you'll be standing in some weird location in the world. You know, for crazed animals and stuff like that running about the woods. Be safe out there, and everybody have a fantastic week. Hopefully, I'll get away tomorrow and try and get some filming done. But anyway,
Yeah.
catch you all soon.
Bye
Take
bye.
care and bye.